Hi, I'm Rebecca Pitkin. I play the role of Megan in the film Silent Retreat, directed by Ace Jordan.
Rebecca, how long have you been acting for?
I've been acting professionally for about 8 years.
What have been some of the highlights of your career?
Some of the highlights so far have been, of course, Silent Retreat. That was a lot of fun. Also a film called Gridiron UK, which is a comedy set in the 80s.
What drew you to the character of Megan?
What drew me to Megan was that she's very inquisitive and a little bit stubborn, and even though she's quite a good girl, she's very brave.
How are you and the character of Megan similar and different?
We're both quite stubborn. We both, once we get an idea in our heads, we kind of don't let it go. And we're quite different because I think even though she's quite brave, she's still, to me, a little bit of a goody two-shoes, and I don't think I'm really like that at all.
How did you get into character?
I do as much of a backstory as possible. I try and work out everything my character is thinking in each scene so that I just kind of know her as well as I can kind of know myself in that moment. So I just work on her character, make stuff up if need be about her, if it's not in the script, and just have as much kind of background about her so that hopefully it comes across as richer rather than one-dimensional.
Why is Megan attracted to Zach?
He has this kind of southern charm about him, as does Donny, and I think she's attracted to the fact that he's a little bit of a bad boy, but overall he's nice to her, so she likes that.
Can you describe their relationship?
It's very early on and they haven't actually got together yet, so they're very polite to each other and flirtatious and kind to each other and there for each other. So it's the early days.
Do you think she suspects that Zach has a dark side?
That's a tough one because she's smart, so I think there's an element that she thinks there might be something more to him, but I don't think she ever really thinks that he could be involved with the real dark stuff that's going on.
Do you think she's strangely attracted to his dark side?
I think she's attracted to his dark side, but I don't think it's a strange thing. I think that's a kind of natural thing that people are drawn to, the unknown.
Would you say that Silent Retreat is a horror film? And if so, explain.
I mean, essentially it's a horror film, but I do think it's a little bit more of like a thriller as well, maybe even a psychological thriller because of the elements at the mental institution and the just the whole element of it. I think it's less just, there's some gore in it, but it's less just all out trying to shock you for the blood and the guts. There's kind of more to it, more behind it psychologically.
Favorite horror film?
My favorite horror film, The Shining.
Why?
The blood and guts don't scare me as much. It's kind of when there's the psychological element to it, and that kind of freaks me out a bit.
What was your favorite scene?
The one that is probably not the most interesting to watch, but my favorite to act in was when we're all around the table and there were all of us together, because there were a few scenes when we were all together, so that kind of stood out for me because it was our first day filming, so it's the first time we all kind of interacted with each other.
In real life, what frightens you the most?
Physically, I think wasps frighten me the most. Mentally, I think the fear of failure.
So reality scares you?
I'm just afraid of life on a day-to-day basis.
Do you perceive Zach as a hero or a villain?
I think he's kind of a villain, but a villain you love to hate. Almost like an anti-hero. There's certain films where the baddies, as we call them in England, you really root for, even though they're not really like the moral or good characters, but you really want them to succeed in the film. So he's kind of, to me, he's kind of like that.
And then what about Mr. Warren's character? Would you consider him a villain?
Yeah, he's a villain. He looks like a villain, that's for sure. He's more straight out the villain. He's one that I don't think you want to succeed, so he falls into the villain category. Zach, anti-hero, good villain. Mr. Warren, villain.
Do you feel that your character Megan is a hero?
I think she is on some level because she she's a bit more selfless than the other characters in the sense that she first realizes that Rita has gone missing, and she's the one that cares the most. She's the one that wants to find out what's happened, and she's the one that keeps going back to those tapes to work out what's going on. So in that respect, I think that she is a hero.
I was curious, why do you feel that Megan was so attracted to listening to those tapes?
I personally think there was like a dark side which she was attracted to, but also I think she was determined to find out what was going on with the place that they were staying in, and Rita had gone missing, so I think the more she listened to it, the more she thought she was going to find out.
What do you think set Silent Retreat director Ace Jordan apart?
He's just so chilled out and relaxed, and I think when you're on set, it's so nice to be around people that are like that, because it's such a hectic experience and there's always a lot of people involved, and a lot of people have stressful jobs, not the actors, they have the easiest jobs. So I think Ace did a really great job of just like keeping everything together and keeping everyone kind of like relaxed and keeping it fun. I mean, it's a thriller horror film, which I think if it's not fun to be in and it's not fun to watch.
What was the best part of working on Silent Retreat?
It was just how much fun we all had together. We all hung out, we all kind of bonded from the start. We were up in Big Bear for about a month, and we just had so much fun. Like, the characters and the filming was fun, but each time we wrapped, each day we went out and we went fishing, or we went for dinner, or we went bowling, and it was just a really nice, close-knit family feel for the time we were doing it.
How did working in Big Bear differ than working in the UK?
Working in Big Bear was so different to working in the UK. It was this, I mean, the UK can be beautiful in its own way, but Big Bear was stunning. This huge, gorgeous lake. It was all the trees and the cabins, and it was really beautiful. I feel really lucky that we got to film there.
What were some special moments that you shared with others on set?
We went fishing a few times, which it was quite entertaining. Ellie was quite afraid of the worms that you have to put on the hooks, so I used to have to do that for him. And he was generally quite squeamish with the fishing, but it was fun. Donny was very good at it and showed us all how to do it, and Danilo was very good at it, and we would bring back lots of fish to the cabin and cook them for dinner.